Hello people, this is Squash Corner. This is my figure cleaning tutorial, and this is how I clean my figures, but on a budget. Let's get started. What you'll need is some paintbrushes, I recommend at your local dollar store, a big powdered brush, a screen cleaner that you could find for TVs, consoles, or for glasses, a water bottle filled with water, and it doesn't have to be anything specific, just any container that could hold a fluid. And not needed, but usually for every figure collector, just a little bag to put everything in, and an X-Acto knife, but we're not going to use this for this video, maybe in the future. And of course the figures for the cleaning, which is going to be the 1/10 scale PVC Genos, the s.h.monsterarts Godzilla, the Sega Shimakaze collection Shimakaze, and the Mikasa nendroid. So how I'll do things is clean figures from least to most expensive, and I'll demonstrate each tool that I have and its importance for cleaning all these figures. So the first thing that I always aim for is starting out, how would I clean the figure first? So if this was a figure that could actually come off of its stand, I will usually do that so I don't damage anything, but sadly I cannot get rid of her on her stand. She's just stayed put or glued. So basically the first thing I'll start is add a dab of water on this soft cloth and start just rubbing all around the stand to get that clean first. Very important note is I'm using water because if you use soap or any type of chemical products, you can remove the paint. Even though this is completely white, I don't want to risk getting rid of the lettering. So just from those quick swipes, I actually just clean the stand. It looks just fine. And also, something very important too is I use this screen cleaner just because it doesn't have a rough surface. If it has a rough surface, you could also damage paint. And I don't really go really hard. I usually just pat it down, just left and right, just softly, or do the wax on and wax off strokes. Also for my screen cleaner, I only dampen one side with water. The reason I don't drench it completely is because only one side is necessary. Also, if one side is already drenched and dirtied out, I could just go to the next side. And if it's completely dirty, the whole cloth, then I'll just rinse it out with water and then go back to cleaning. So let's actually look at the figure. So what I use this blush brush for is to actually get rid of dirt from crevices and also the dust on crevices. So you can see right now that this figure is kind of detailed, where you can see all the creases in her skirt. So I wouldn't dampen it because sometimes little parts such as her ship pieces could potentially break off if you're using force with your finger. So what I do with this is kind of just use it just to brush it off. So you can see yeah, it's clearly getting cleaner. And what's funny is this is actually yeah, all the dust is actually just pressing against my face. You can do the same thing with the hair, for example. Look how detailed the hair is. And of course, that I wouldn't want to dampen it to potentially break certain parts, maybe the tips. So what I'll do also is just dampen it. So that's the blush brush's importance. So you're probably saying to yourself, well, idiot, I tried it with my detailed figures and I couldn't get everything off from this blush brush. Well, the blush brush is just to get on the top surfaces. So for example, you see right there where it's just completely dirty right here. This is for the regular brushes. This is their job. This is their time to shine, people. So if your figure is actually just a little dusty, I would just stroke it dry completely, just so it gets all the dust out. If it's a little too hard to get it without it being dry, that's when I'll dampen a little water onto the brush and put just a tiny bit of force just to get out the excess dirt or excess lint, whatever that's hard to actually remove. So now my brush has a little water. You can see this part is pretty nasty right now. So I'm gonna just apply just a little force. And don't be afraid to get your actual brush a little dirty, because you can always just use water, sink water, to just clean it out. A quick alternative also that you could use is I picked this up earlier today from Walmart, which is a compressed air canister. And what makes this special is you break this off, you can put this nozzle here, and it's pretty much condensed air. So instead of actually slowly brushing each crevice, you could honestly use the duster to dust off any particular spots you can't reach, or even dust the whole figure. But of course, since this is liquid that's turned to gas, you can run out of the liquid. So it's a little more expensive if you're consistently using this, and you would have to buy more and more. So I would say if you have a little bit more money to spend, I would recommend at least one of these. So I'll show a quick example of using this. So like right here is very dusty what the little robot dude is. So press away. You can see it kind of gets rid of the majority of the dust. So now that we get the general idea that the blush brush goes like on the top and could go in different crevices, this little tool can get for details. The air duster, if you have the money, can go in between any crevices you can't reach. For any specific dirt pieces, you could rinse it off with water. Now with all of that said, we could potentially just clean this figure. And I'll see thee after the figure is cleaned. So I practically cleaned the whole figure. It needs a little more de-dusting, I would say, but it's pretty nice overall from what I was doing. The air canister I did not really use at all, and if you don't trust any type of chemicals touching your figure, I totally get that. So this whole time I was cleaning it, I mostly just used the standard to make it as safe as possible and to prove that my method actually does a pretty good job. So next figure. Alright, so here's Mikasa right here. Since she's a smaller figure, it's really easy to de-dust her, but of course that she gets smudges and she gets little, blemishes here and there. So what I'll probably do right now is just get rid of all her accessories and parts, because that's what makes a nendroid so special practically, because they have so many accessories and you're actually able to remove the hair and the arms like so. Like right now I could actually remove her arms. And my thought process would be, I would probably de-dust any socket. So let me just showcase how you get rid of everything. So poor little gal, she's disassembled, but I would honestly start cleaning the figure like this. So I actually find it a lot easier to use the brushes to actually clean it, not just rely on the towel. So for example, just dampen this a little bit with water and you're able to put a little more pressure for any types of dirt and little things that are harder to come off. Now that she's all clean, she looks a lot better. I'm not sure if I could pick it up on camera, but she does look a lot different compared to what you originally saw. I feel like it looks a lot more clear and a lot more cleaner. Now we gotta get to the next figure. Alright, right here we have the s.h.monsterarts Godzilla, and I feel like he's a pretty good example of a figure to clean, because for example he has spines. Usually the spines get very dusty if you don't take care of it very often, all throughout. So I feel like probably the best solution right now would either be the air canister, but we're going to ignore that for probably the rest of the video. But this I'm pretty sure will do it justice. You see all the dust coming out. And I'm pretty sure you could clean the whole figure just by doing this to the spine area. And if you have any other spots right here, this figure has really weird crevices for some reason. So like with these like open gaps, I would honestly just use like a tiny little thing just to get rid of all the excess dust that probably piled on from the inside. But honestly, besides that, I think that's the best thing you could do. So my overall thought process would probably de-dust this. And since he's such a dark gray, you can't notice any dirt marks or any types of like blemishes that this figure would have because of the coloring. If you have any types of dirt, most likely that's noticeable will probably be in the eye area where you could just clean it with the regular brush. Same goes for the mouth actually. So let's open this guy's mouth. Anything dirty, and then you could just brush any excess dust. Alright, this is the last figure we have to clean, and this is the most expensive out of the bunch. Here's Genos. And so my thought process right now is, we learned we gotta remove the stand. Yoink. Oh, fuck. Be gentle. There we go. Okay, let's close up on him really quick. Alright, so now that you could clearly tell that he has a lot going on for him, like, of course it's kind of intimidating to clean him, but what's pretty good about the blush brush, it's so soft that even though these look super sensitive, I'm pretty sure it could go right through it. Alright, really quick for the stand. All you really need to do is, honestly, I'll just brush it all off. Like any Axis crap, I'll just brush it off. So game plan, dedust the arms, and we're probably going to use the small brushes to clean the face and the hair. And you would never want to clean the figure when it's on the stand, because you could potentially knock it over. So important announcement, screw the blush brush, I wouldn't recommend cleaning this, only probably the top crevices of it. But if you have a figure this detailed, your best friend is probably the smallest brush in your arsenal, in your kit. This is the smallest one that I have, and I felt like this worked out super good, cleaning out every single section. Like, look at this for example. There's like a hole here, I could go completely through and just go all around. There's so many details, so many different types of places that this brush can maneuver in, even through here, that I recommend for a figure this detailed, go for the smallest brush that you got, because this will be your best friend. And Genos, thanks to this little brush, is practically clean. So I think that will do it for this episode. I cleaned all the figures, and hopefully you got a general idea of how to clean everything. If you got any tips or any other advice, feel free to say something in the comments so everybody will have a better understanding how to clean your figures, and hopefully I can improve in the process as well. I'll also like to know what was your favorite figure out of the collection, and hopefully you guys have a great day. I bid thee farewell, and I'll see thee another day.